First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Gabriel. I have been trading for a little under 1 year. So I'm not a professional by all means. This is not a video giving you absolute strategy or something to get you profitable, anything like that. Although I do believe I have found profitability already, this is not a video regarding that. This is a video regarding and tailoring to my own experience and how I went from being a inconsistent trader, an unprofitable, nervous, very lacking trader to being a more well-rounded individual, finding profitability and actually extracting money from the market. This is not trying to discourage you from continuing to trade. This is not trying to discourage you or make you want to give up. You need to stop trying to be a trader. You need to stop trying to be profitable. You need to stop trying to get money as quick as possible. Based on my own experience, a year ago, 11 months ago, is when I started to trade. I started trading because I had just gotten into a very unfulfilling job. I was selling home security door to door, and I had just gotten back from Houston, Texas, every single day out in the blazing heat, trying to get into people's houses, having some success with that. Around this time, I had also broken up with my girlfriend, who I had been seeing for over a year at that point. So my life wasn't exactly going so well. I always wanted to be wealthy. I always wanted to be successful in my own business. So I found trading, obviously like anybody else does, through the internet. And I started trying to trade. Now in this time, I would call it the phase one of trading. Everybody understands this. If you watched psychology videos from your favorite YouTubers, you understand that there are different levels and stages to trading in itself. The first stage is obviously the learning phase. You're going to learn everything you need to know about trading. You're going to learn what you want to trade. You're going to learn how you want to trade, the strategy in itself, and all of the intricate details, as well as the schedule revolving around your trading. So when you want to trade. I learned all of this stuff through a bunch of different videos, many different mentors, many different YouTubers and stuff, courses. I would not say this phase is the hardest phase, but it is the most time-consuming phase. You're putting many hours into the market, you're studying the charts, you're back testing, you're doing all of these things that take many hours upon hours of doing and of learning and of studying. After you learn a bit about your phase, you're going to fail. We've all done it. If you've made it to a point where you've extracted money from the market, you've either been very lucky or you've spent enough time failing to understand what actually works in the market. After the amount of time it took for me to learn trading, which was about 6 months, I would say 6 months is when I learned absolutely everything I needed to know about trading. Obviously, I do not know everything, but everything regarding to my strategy and to what I use to extract money from the markets, that I can confidently say I have down to a T. Again, so why do I say to stop trying when this is all a stage in which you are trying to be profitable? I wouldn't say this is the stage that necessarily creates that kind of discipline, that kind of mentality to be a profitable trader. This whole section and segment of you learning is all just information. This is all information coming into your brain through the charts, through videos, things like that. It is only after you start to implement that information into the market is when you start to see that reflection and the flaws which you have in your character and in your trading. And this is where you grow. This, I would say, is stage 2, the failure stage. You try so hard to be a profitable trader because you understand what's going on in the market, and yet you continue to fail. Let's call this the refinement stage. You understand your strategy, and yet you still fail. Now, why is that? It could be the way you are trading. It's making you over risk, over leverage, take bad setups. Your RR is extremely high or maybe extremely low. You just haven't found that sweet spot to where you as an individual can be confident in each and every single trade. After a while, let's say a few months or so, eventually it will come to a point where you begin to find consistency. This is that point in, I would say, many traders' career lifespans where you start to feel confident. You start to gain a sense of understanding that you can hold your own against these markets, that you could actually do this. This is a possibility. For me, it came when I was so consistent with my trading that I could not lose a single day. I was so locked in and dialed, and it made me feel so happy, so proud of myself. I completed it. This is it. I'm profitable. I've done it. Now I can start making that money. But that wasn't the case. With every rise comes a fall. And this is where the aspect of trying comes in. Because the more I tried to be consistent, to keep that streak going, to over risk and pass an account or to get that payout quick as fuck. When the more I tried to do these things, the more they slipped through my grip. And it was because I put so much stress on myself to being successful. Now that I have achieved consistency, that the stress inevitably caused me to lose. And as all traders know, when you start to lose, those losses amount to way more than the winners do. Most of this comes through your mental psychology. You lose a trade, instead of getting off the charts like you would if you won a trade, you continue to trade to try to make that profit back. And that's where I started to crash. I was at my peak, but the moment after I got money, I would blow my account. And why was that? If I already understood how to make money, why would I blow my account the next day? It's because I tried so hard to continue extracting money. My greed got a hold of me and I continued to over risk. I continued to overtrade and I wouldn't let my losers stay losers. I wanted them to be winners. I couldn't be okay with a red day. So I ended up overtrading and I lost even more, causing me to blow accounts, causing me to lose more money. What's the solution to this then? What is the solution to working past this stage of refinement? It's to refine your mental psychology. Not even so your strategy, more so your mental psychology and your perception on the markets. I had such a skewed perception of the markets, whereas I would think that a $500 day was bad. It wasn't good enough. I needed at least $1,000. I needed more. I needed to pass accounts quickly, get money, because that's what everybody online told you to do. These experienced traders who've been trading for 5 times the amount I've been trading were telling me that I needed to pass accounts quickly, that I needed to get payouts quickly, that there's always the next thing, there's always the next thing, there's always the next thing. That comparison only led to failure in the end. Through trying to be like somebody else in their journey, I forgot the things that I needed to refine in my journey. I was trying too hard. That's where you need to maybe even take a break from the markets. And it came for me when I had blown 5 accounts in pretty much the span of 3 days. Okay, I played things very safely. I've always played things safe. I'm not the type to go ahead and just buy 10 accounts, try to trade those immediately, right? I like to work my way up. So you watching this video, you may be a trader who blows 10 accounts in a day, and that's okay with you because you've done it before. Try to think to yourself about what it is you're doing. You're spending so much money on these accounts. You're spending so much time wanting to pass them quickly that you're avoiding the point of trading in itself. The entire point that we get into trading is to save ourselves time. You can make as much as you want in trading with as little amount of time as possible if you understand how to do it. You can make $1,000 in seconds, millions of dollars in months, in weeks. People have done it. People do it. You need to step back a little and stop trying so hard to be profitable. That's where your outside life helps you in trading. Your trading is a reflection of how you live your life day to day. It's a reflection of how your mental psychology performs on a daily basis. And that's what reflects in the markets. And I never understood that. I thought that if I just go ahead and keep pushing and keep trying in the markets, I'm gonna get it because I've always been like that. I've always thought that if I just pursue something as hard as possible, I will achieve success no matter what. And in some things that may be true, like working out, like maybe playing a sport, like maybe even reading, things like that. You may get more success off of trying hard, but trading is not like that. You cannot control every aspect of trading. You can't control it. You are an observer in the market, whatever market you're watching. You are subject to that market's fluctuation. You can only control yourself. As soon as I realized that I needed to focus on other things than trading, my trading became easier. I used to spend 8 hours a day studying on the markets when I first started trading. I now spend less than an hour every single day, and I'm consistently profitable. You're putting less effort into your trades, and yet you're gaining more. Why is that? I personally believe that it's because you're spending less time thinking about being profitable and more time actually doing it. Time is perceptive, right? I'm going to use this shit I saw on Instagram of Sam Sulek or whatever. The perception of time when you're doing a squat in the gym is far longer than the actual time it takes to do that squat because of the effort you're putting on that squat, because of the muscular exertion being placed and the tension that's on your body. It makes you think 5 seconds as 5 minutes, maybe. However amount of weight you're actually squatting, right? This is just an analogy I'm using, but it makes sense. The more you think about being profitable, the longer it's going to take you to be profitable because you're thinking so much about it. And when you put so much mental energy into this one aspect of life, making money, then you start to forget about what other things are possible, what kind of things you can do outside of your trading, outside of the charts. And once I started doing this, once I started to get back into running, back into reading, back into enjoying other things outside of the markets, my days got better. I would get on the charts for maybe even less than 45 minutes, make my money, and get off the charts and enjoy my life. And that's when the compounding effect starts to take place, because you're consistently making profits every single day, and you're not worrying about maybe those losers that you will inevitably have, or even more profits. You're not worrying about being greedy. You're not worrying about making even more money. And in that sense, you're saving yourself not only mental energy, but the cost of that possible failure that you would go through if you were to continue to think that way. If you keep thinking about, oh, I want to make more money, you're going to eventually take another trade. And statistically, that trade could go wrong, making you lose profits. And then you could spiral, revenge trade, get even lower, become red on all your accounts, and have to restart that entire process, setting yourself back days, maybe even weeks of progress. That's when it started to click with me, honestly. When I blew so many accounts that I was close to even passing in the span of days, I understood that, dang, I set myself back literal weeks of trading because of this thought process I put myself in. And if you want to know anything about me, I hate wasting my time. I hate feeling like I wasted my time. So I told myself I need to stop sacrificing my future because of how I feel in this moment. I need to stop caring about losing, and I need to follow all of my rules. That's another thing. If you do not have set rules in your trading strategy, I have 8 rules so far. If you do not have set rules, you are not going to be profitable because you have not set limits to allow yourself some room, some grace to understand when to stop and when to be content and happy. I don't give a fuck if I lose if I followed all my rules, because that's when I know the market is not in my favor. If I follow all of my rules, every single one, I will make money if the market is consistent with my strategy. The only days that I would say would mess me up would be days with high impact news. And those are days I don't even trade. So step back and think to yourself, why do you care so much about trading? Why are you trying so hard? You want to be rich. You want to get your family out of that financial situation. You want to maybe buy a new car. You want to take your girlfriend out. You want to get a girlfriend. Maybe you think money is the only way to get a girlfriend. Stop thinking like that, because all that is doing is setting you back. You are not progressing when you think these kinds of thoughts. You are regressing. You are wasting your mental energy that could be placed into other aspects of life. Before you try to convince yourself that trying so hard in trading is going to help, maybe try understanding where it is you lack in your life itself. Are you addicted to anything? Are you struggling with some kind of vice? Are you struggling with your anger? Are you struggling with patience? Because the market will show you that. The market will show you every single flaw you have. Because when you're on your computer looking at those candles, it's just you and that screen. Unless you're kind of like me and sometimes you fuck around and scroll Instagram. Well, which let me tell you, that's not a good idea. And I have lost because of that. And I put parameters in place so I don't do that anymore. That's an example of a struggle I dealt with. Being distracted, being impatient. Another thing I really struggle with was coping with losses. I was so set on wanting to be a profitable trader that one loss would ruin my confidence. Even if I won every other single day that week, that one loss strike a nerve in my heart, which I couldn't deal with. And I would feel so bad that I would resort to being lustful and watching explicit content, explicit videos, not because I was necessarily even horny, not because I even wanted to do so, but because I didn't want to feel that failure inside me. I wanted to mask it. I wanted to cope by feeling pleasure in other instances, in other ways, which are not good for you, let me tell you. I used to be addicted to smoking weed. This is something I'm open about now because I've really put that under control. And I have not smoked in so long. And I'm very, very proud of myself. But I used to be addicted to it, even when I first started to trade. And I would do this because I was not content with other aspects of my life. I was insecure. I was lonely. I was angry. And all these things would go away when I smoked. I dumbed myself down. I would mask all of those problems. But that's not how you grow. If you ever heard the saying, you need to face your demons, that saying is so true. Because you can never overcome your anxieties, your issues, unless you face them directly. And this is extremely hard. It's super hard, depending on what you're even addicted to. Some substances are very, very addictive, more than marijuana is. There's a few different routes you can go. There is a route where you can distract yourself with productive things. You can implement strategies in your life and set maybe a set routine during different times in your day to do things that will distract you from whatever vice you're trying to deal with. This could be reading, this could be running, working out, even maybe playing video games could work. When I'm facing extreme withdrawal effects, playing video games can help. But again, video games in itself can be a distraction. So just try to think about how that affects you, obviously. But I'm going to say personally, what has helped me is my relationship with God. Now, I know in the comments people are going to say, or if anyone even watches this video, I don't know. People are going to say, oh my gosh, he's getting into religion. He's getting into this kind of stuff. I don't want to hear about that. Right? You don't have to hear about that. Okay? You can go ahead and try to live your life by being more productive, doing things like that. But I've tried that. And let me tell you, it hasn't helped as much as a relationship with God has. I get my strength from something outside of this world, and that is Jesus Christ. That was where my strength comes from. And I'm fully proud to admit it because I have physically, mentally, spiritually changed because of that. When you ask for help from God, He will help you. I'm going to keep it as simple as that. I'm not going to spew Bible verses up here, but cast your anxiety on Him because He cares about you. God cares about you. If this is a video that maybe you need to watch, or maybe this is a video that can help you with finding something fulfilling in your heart that's been so empty, this may be that video. Your journey in trading is not defined by a day, and neither is your journey with God. You may mess up, you may goon, you may smoke, do all these things that you don't want to do, and think that you're a failure, but you're not. Do not take those as failures, take them as lessons. Let me tell you, God has disciplined me in so many ways to make me better than I was before. I used to get angry, impatient, sad. I would cry, man. I would cry because I lost a trade. Some of you may relate. Some of you may think, what the heck? What's wrong with you? It's numbers on a screen. And you're right, it is numbers on a screen. But it meant more to me back then because this is all that I had. I just wanted to be a trader, man. I didn't want to do other things except trading. And that's what fucked me up. I was trying too hard. And eventually I failed. And I learned from it. You may be going through that failure right now. You may be thinking, fuck, I want to quit trading. I don't want to do this shit anymore. This is draining me. This is making me so mad and angry, and my life sucks because of trading. And let me tell you, no, it's not because of trading. It's because of you. You're putting too much value on these numbers. You're putting so much value on money, on success. When let me tell you, when you eventually achieve that success, you're gonna want more success, man. You're gonna want more. That's how humans are. That's just how we are. You achieve something, you're gonna want more. So just be happy with where you are. If you guys like this video, leave a comment. I don't give a shit about likes. Leave a comment. I like interacting with people through comments. I like hearing what people have to say to what I'm speaking about. If this helped you, leave a comment. If you have something you want to get off your chest, leave a comment. Just leave a comment. Be calm this week. Be calm this day. Take a deep breath. Everything's going to be all right. And remember, it could always be worse. See ya.